Over 3 decades ago, we were blessed by Johnny Venerable joining us. That's right. It's a very special PHNX Cardinals, and we're going to figure out is it's time to reunite Kyler Murray with one of his top playmakers from back in the day. What else is coming up, Johnny?
I promise my birthday will not dominate this show. There's a report out there that the Jets want to trade for Kyler Murray. Does that make sense? Does the show make sense? PHNX Cardinals starts now. Hey, welcome in. Welcome to K, presented by our friends at Circle K. It's the PHNX Cardinals podcast, the premier Arizona Cardinal podcast. Like and subscribe. Leave us a 5-star wherever you get your programming. I'm Johnny Venerable. He's Brack, Damon, Dawg in studio K. Creeping ever so closer to the NFL Combine. Fran Duffy, NFL ALLCITY analyst, going to join us later this week. Premier coverage beginning today on a Football Monday, brought to you by our friends at Bet365. Download the app today. Use the bonus code PHNX365 when you sign up. Choose your offer. Find out why, whatever the moment. It's never ordinary with Bet365. How we living, my guy?
We are living well. Hopefully not as well as you. Our king today, Johnny V, his special little day. That's right. The birthday boy. Yeah, it is going to dominate. We got lots of surprises in store today. We'll get into it as far as the conversation. The Jets coveting the Cardinals franchise quarterback. Hands off. Which free agent addition should the Cardinals add? I think we found maybe a solution to figure that one out. And then, just normal ball talk as per usual. And we're going to be headed to Indianapolis a week from today. So our combine coverage will be wall to wall starting 1 week from today, 7 days away. So very excited. Just need to check in with everybody. How's everybody doing? Obviously, this show taking it upon themselves to hold the organization accountable. We've given up some of the things that we love, hold near and dear to our hearts that sometimes we can't do without. I gave up caffeine. You gave up sweet treats. Damon has just been putting himself in the gym, working on his physical fitness in order for this team to do what's right come March and make a big splash signing. How's everybody doing?
We're doing well, man. I don't know if people have been in the Discord. They've seen, it's like my Discord content is very cut and dry. Like I'm just posting the things I'm not allowed to eat. You are posting the coffee you're not allowed to drink.
Yeah.
Damon's content, I would argue, has been the best.
Right.
It's in the grind session, Swole City. Damon, did you injure your pinky, by the way? What happened in your most recent?
Yeah, that was it wasn't really a gym accident. Unfortunately, some glass broke in my apartment and my pinky was sliced vertically about an inch and a half. Man. But hey, I've been here before. I actually ripped my other pinky. So, This is what I do.
You should say, hopefully save you the gory details that I caught earlier.
Yeah, for sure.
Not great.
You're let's be honest, Bill, your wife works in medicine. You should be able to handle it.
I can't. I'm a sad man when it comes to gory details. I don't like to watch it. I don't like to hear about it.
I'm doing all right, though. Yeah. I'm doing all right. I'd love an off day. I won't lie to you, but we're still going strong and I haven't hit the wall yet. So we're going to be good.
Here's something I'm willing to admit to everybody here. I got my first cup, at least that I can remember, of decaf coffee on Sunday.
How was it?
I was Jones. It was worthless. I regretted it. It was worthless. It doesn't even taste really like real coffee. It did not scratch the itch that I was looking for. So really unfortunate.
I don't hate to hear that. I don't hate that you didn't enjoy it. That makes me feel good because there's no supplement for me to take that replaces sweet treats, especially on my B-day. I'd love to be going face first into a big, double fudge chocolate cake like the kid from Matilda, but that won't be the reality for me.
Yeah.
First time in a long time.
Yeah. Well, look, maybe you'll instead you'll turn to some red meat or something. I don't know. Just find another vice. I think that's
maybe a Chili's triple dipper could be in store for your wife to go. Thank you, Miss Leah.
Yes, our head of content wishing Johnny a happy birthday. But what do you got?
Let me ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
To lead off today's show, would a Christian Kirk pique your interest on giving up a certain vice? Would a Christian Kirk acquisition of some kind be enough to slice through the Monti Ossenfort stigma that he can't get peak free agents? I'm going to say, yes, it will. Now, why are we bringing that up? And it's funny, a lot of programs, not this network, but external networks, maybe nationally, they tend to run toward certain narratives, right? We set those narratives here on PHNX Cardinals. And I'm not sure if anybody remembers, several weeks ago, we brought up in our ideal offseason, could the Arizona Cardinals target Christian Kirk? We deemed him a cap casualty. Well. Today, ESPN, Brack, your guy Bill Barnwell did the exact same thing.
Yeah, let's take a look at Christian Kirk, who he signed that deal to exit the Arizona Cardinals organization years ago. It was upwards of $84 million once it was all said and done. I think it was initially like a $72 million deal. So it's aged fairly well. But now he's reached 28 years old. The Jags are once again, perennially rebuilding.
Losers.
So he carries a $24 million cap hit. And last year he was injured. And so he had just 27 receptions for 379 yards and a touchdown. And just as far as one of the more high-profile cut candidates around the league, Christian Kirk absolutely fits that.
Let's read an excerpt from Barnwell himself. Kirk may have been a victim of his own success. After a breakout season, the Jags signed him to what was a stunning deal at the time. Again, Bo, as you mentioned, 4 years, $72 million. Considering Kirk took 3/4 of his snaps from the slot last season, he doesn't have to line up on the outside. He profiles as a moderate, low-ceiling receiver. Now, to that, I disagree. I think that, I look at this match, and there's a reason why we paired it, Bo, with our offseason moves. I think this is exactly what the Arizona Cardinals need. Now, you could want that. We could want that. The Cardinals could want that. Takes two to tango. Christian Kirk is from here, right? Maybe there's a coup there. But there was also a report today that the Commanders with Cliff Kingsbury, his ex-head coach, could potentially be available. They've got more cap space. They've got a needed receiver as well. I just think about, if you're going to try to go all in on making it work with Kyler Murray this year, he needs a veteran receiver. We've talked about it. He needs a slot receiver, and he needs a deep threat. Well, who checks all of those flipping boxes?
Right.
Now he's got familiarity with. You could make an argument, sans the 1 year with D-Hop in 2020, Kyler Murray's best connection in his Cardinal career was with Christian Kirk. Big play after big play. Hell, Kyler Murray helped Christian Kirk get paid. Now, the big knock on Christian, very similar to Kyler and Cliff Kingsbury, he disappeared at the end of seasons, right? But to his credit, they didn't move him underneath until his last year in Arizona, and then the Jaguars did that, and he had a career year.
Yeah.
If Christian Kirk's available, it would behoove the Cardinals absolutely to inquire about his availability.
Yeah, and as you saw in that graphic, 28 years old, a guy that's not coming off of a season-ending injury where it was like he tore his ACL or his Achilles or anything ligament-wise. It was a broken collarbone. He broke his collarbone, which he should be able to heal from fine. And he's a guy that, as you said, primarily profiles in the slot. And I was rewatching some of the stuff we did out on Radio Row. We were talking to Dan Orlovsky, and Orlovsky was just saying he just had a random, thought come across his mind, just thinking about Cards playmakers. He's like, look, you got Marv, 6'4". You got Michael Wilson at 6'2", probably 6'3", two big body receivers on the outside. What the Cardinals are lacking is somebody to play and elevate the slot play. And he wasn't a knock on Greg Dortch. Greg Dortch is, he's going to be limited as far as being 5'7", 5'8". If you can bring somebody like Christian Kirk, who remains to be has game-breaking speed, I think he has the ability to really just be middle of the field merchant for the Arizona Cardinals that, they've been lacking for a while, that they had, they thought maybe Rondell Moore could be, but they haven't had it since Christian Kirk finished second in slot yards behind Cooper Kupp before he hit free agency that 1 year and cashed in.
And here's another thing you can say about him is he hasn't lost a step either. Right? He was banged up this past year. His yards per catch, Bo, has only gone up since he left the Cardinals. His last year, which he was dynamite, nearly 1,000 yards, 12.8 yards per catch. He's eclipsed that every year with Jacksonville. With Trevor Lawrence, 13.2, 13.8 in this past year, albeit in just 8 games, 14 yards per catch. I mean, to me, it's like you couldn't make a better fit in the lab. Guy who grew up here, played for the Cardinals, has a familiarity with Kyler Murray, excelled here, right? Big play explosives, plays underneath, is a veteran, is a slot receiver. It's literally what they need, right? As much as I love the idea of draft and develop and go out and get another guy, I think after, reaping the benefits of Marv and Michael Wilson, but there's still room to grow there. Need a veteran underneath. That's a big reason why they signed Zay Jones last year. And Zay Jones, sans his suspension, I thought was okay. But it does feel like with Greg in particular, like we've kind of reached a plateau, or at least it feels like it, with where he's going to be. I mean, Christian Kirk, there's not a knock on Greg. And Christian Kirk's just a better overall receiver. You know, it's not. Greg was undrafted.
Christian $1 million contract.
Right. Christian Kirk was a second-round pick for a reason.
Yeah, he was.
One of the few successful ones under Steve Keim. So, number one, are the Jaguars going to do it? I still think with the amount of cap space that they have and the fact that they still want to surround Trevor Lawrence with weapons, like, I got to see it to believe it. But in a world where Deebo Samuel might get cut for pennies on the dollar, certainly Christian Kirk can be cut. Plus, I mean, Brian Thomas Jr. could make a lot of people expendable in Jacksonville.
I don't think there's any way he's playing at $24 million this next season.
No.
I don't think there's any chance. So he's either going to restructure or he's going to go try to, find greener pastures. You talk about Washington. I think Washington's going bigger game hunting than Christian Kirk.
T. Higgins, yeah.
Yeah. Why wouldn't they? Just go get T. Higgins. I mean, I think Christian Kirk would be a nice compliment to Scary Terry, what he does as far as the outside. But I really do think Washington and Adam Peters, they're armed with, top 3 cap space again, and they'll be able to go out there and get it done and get a guy like T. Higgins to couple with a guy like Jaden Daniels, no, they wouldn't be in the Christian Kirk sandbox, going forward. And like of the 8 games he played last year before breaking his collarbone, he had over 50 yards receiving in 4 of those games. So in half of them, he was still very productive. And that was with really uneven quarterback play, even to start the season for Jacksonville. So, yeah, if Higgins is going to get tagged again.
People are saying that it happened. I'll look at it real quick, but that's what people in the chat are saying.
Okay. Well, I mean, they still have to figure something out. It's not a slam dunk that he's going to come back and play for another tag for.
Yeah. Bengals plan to franchise tag T. Higgins per James, Rapian. Yeah.
Okay.
I also think just like Washington could just use a 1st-round pick on a receiver too. Like they don't just have to add one in free agency. The free agency wide receiving class is bad. It's bad. The best players that may not even be available yet, like Christian Kirk, and there was smoke around Tyreek Hill, which I don't think, regardless of what he says, will calm that down. Deebo could be cut. Devontae Adams, right? It's like Cooper Kupp. The big names, if you go look at the list of available receivers, they're not on them yet. And it was highlighted by Barnwell in this article. Like, shield your eyes. The actual list of free agent receivers, sans T. Higgins, is atrocious. It's not, in my opinion, it's not even worth pursuing if you're the Cardinals. Your slot receiver is either going to be one of 3 things, in my opinion: a draft pick, Greg Dortch, or a veteran that's cut and or you trade for him. I put the T. Higgins pipe dream to bed for a second. Those are realistic options. I don't think there's a better option to just go and sign when free agency starts off the street. That's a true unrestricted free agent right now. It's awful class.
Yeah. And look, I mean, we'll see what, Cincinnati benefits by tagging T. Higgins, at least the ability to trade him instead of having him walk. And, they would stand to get a compensatory pick, but they can get better value by signing him to a franchise tag deal and then trading him for more than the 3rd that they would top out at. and then receiving, and then he can sign an extension elsewhere.
Yeah.
That's just probably, they're just preparing for him exiting the organization, because signing a second franchise tag, especially at the wide receiver position, it goes up like 110%, doesn't it?
The people
what you
who
previously made.
The people who think Michael Bidwell is cheap from a player standpoint, that's actually what Mike Brown is for the Cincinnati Bengals. Like that, what you think Michael Bidwell is, and certainly Michael's got a lot of flaws, but in terms of like player acquisition and paying players, that's the Bengals.
Yeah.
So I'm with you. There's no reality in which you pay T. Higgins. They have to rebuild their entire defense. Your benefit is to sign T. Higgins to a long-term deal to try to bring that number down in the short term. Jamar Chase is unsigned. Trey Hendrickson needs a new deal. Double tagging T. Higgins. Good luck.
Yeah.
Nice job, Bengals.
Yeah. And it's all fully guaranteed. Like there's no relief. It's just a set cap hit. So yeah, I just don't.
And will T even play on that? He'll probably hold out.
If he's smart, he would. I mean,
my guy Reddick.
They're saying that like it'll come with the discussions of a long-term extension as well. They're trying to get him signed to a long-term extension on the franchise tag right now.
I wouldn't trust that team as far as I could throw them. The Bengals, again, when was the last time the Cardinals let a true star player leave as a free agent? They signed Tyrann Mathieu. He blew out his knee and kind botched that, but he got a second deal. So did David Johnson. Trey McBride's going to get re-signed. Kyler got a new contract. Like when they traded for D-Hop and Chandler Jones, they got new deals. Like the Cardinals just haven't had enough. Right. Well, that we all were like, Jags, what do you do? That's an egregious. That was an egregious.
Nobody could believe it. I mean, it was the talk of day one, the tampering period that offseason, where people like Christian Kirk got what? Like we were expecting to get 14 to 16 and he got 17, like on average, $18 million per season.
Well, the Cardinals just don't create enough stars to then pay them. That's the biggest issue.
That's been the biggest issue lately.
Yeah. Junior saying Calais Campbell. Calais was 30 years old.
Yeah.
It was a mistake, but he'd been playing here for 7-8 years. The Cardinals, Bidwell understands the benefit of paying guys in their prime. The Bengals, I don't know what they're doing. They just got an indoor practice bubble for the first time. They're like the last team to get an indoor bubble. Division I AA college football teams have indoor bubbles.
Right. And they practice in Cincinnati. They have to cross the street to get to their practice facility.
So thumbs up, thumbs down to Christian Kirk. Cardinals, what would you be willing to pay him?
It's a big thumbs up for me. I mean, I think you could go and pay him $12 to $14 million a season.
Hell yeah. That's exact. I was like 15 million max.
Yeah. I mean, he's going to take a little bit of a haircut salary wise, but look, I mean, he can still go get a decent deal. I mean, you look at Darnell Mooney money last year, Gabe Davis, probably just a little notch above that. Deserves it.
For those wondering if he still owns his home here, that's a big fat. He does not. Why do we know that? Because this show reported on that a month before he left, and then
I wasn't on that show.
The local paper came out and said that's incorrect. Who was incorrect? They were incorrect. Christian Kirk left. He went to Jacksonville and sold his house.
It's irresponsible of you to just report facts that Christian Kirk sold his home.
Certain little newspaper was like, that's incorrect. And then Christian Kirk came out and said, laugh out loud, my house is for sale. It was, Christian. We know it was. And then you sold it. So he's not coming home.
So cryptic. Johnny reported that Christian Kirk was selling his house. And then the newspaper, I didn't know this. I thought you got a lot of flack for it, even though it was 100% true.
A certain outlet called the Arizona Schmublick put together an article. Schmublick put out an article that said, basically mocked that engagement and said it wasn't happening. And then what happened? Christian Kirk had his house listed, was the first free agency signing up out of here. No retraction from the Schmublick, by the way. We don't keep receipts here. We do not.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Kyler Murray going to the Jets. That's coming up. Brian saying, I thought JV was going to say, I bought his house. Yeah, that'd be pretty legit. Coach Starks didn't hook me up that much, but he did hook me up. Bet365, never ordinary. Sign up today. No football to wager on. Basketball. Did you guys wager on the horror show that was the NBA All-Star game? Damon, that feels like something you'd bet on.
No, I didn't. I did not wager on it. I should have bet Tyler Hero 3-point champion.
I'm all in on college hoops though. I'm back.
Yeah, college basketball. Right now it's more fun to watch.
I would say close.
Who's your squad? Who you ride or die with right now? Bet365, Bo.
Bo's a Cats guy. Come on.
What happened on Saturday? I'm sitting there watching the second half and Cats are up 10. I'm like, Cats are looking good.
I mean, they
maybe should have bet this one.
Houston might be the best team in the country.
Yeah.
Good game.
Good game. Shake on it. How about you shake on a partnership by downloading the app with our friends at Bet365. Again, NFL season, pour one out. It's over temporarily, but we got NBA action, NHL, college hoops. How about spring training right around the corner? You want to get gross? Bet on some spring training. Let's do it together. Plus, they do 100% parlay boost. Double your winnings on parlays with Bet365's 100% parlay boost. Download the app. Use the bonus code PHNX365. When you sign up, you got to be 21 years and older, physically located in Arizona. Right now, new customers are going to get a cool 100 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. You got to deposit $10 in your newly created account. Again, got to be 21 years and older, physically located in AZ. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP, text NEXT STEP to 53342, or visit problemgambling.az.gov, Bo, for more info.
I hope many of you got to celebrate President's Day with a day off. And if you're looking for something to do with the rest of your President's Day, go check in on the final hours of the President's Day sale with PHNX's official vehicle partner, Sanderson Ford. The clock, it's been ticking, man. And then now it's really getting down to the final moments of the 48-hour President's Day sale, which ends later today, celebrating Arizona being the 48th state of the union, Ford trucks being the #1 sales in Arizona across country for 48 straight years. Sanderson Ford is having a 48-hour only sale. Over 800 new and pre-owned vehicles, many with savings of $4,800 or more. Save $4,800 on the 2024 Bronco Badlands Sport, plus an additional $480 Visa gift card you can use with every vehicle purchase or lease. Yeah, that's right. Sanderson Ford is taking care of you. Whether it's the rest of the sale that's going on for the next couple hours or going forward, check in because the offers don't just end today. So shop 48-hour sale with no hassle, no pressure, no nonsense. And don't let time run out on the Sanderson Ford President's Day sale. Go check them out right now. Bronco Badlands offer includes 1,000 RBC, 70-50 RCC cash, and 1,000 Jeep Open Conquest cash. You must qualify for Visa gift card not valid on AXC or D-Plans or Raptor Tremor trucks and specialty vehicles.
Love our friends at Sanderson Ford. It's truck season, baby. Get outside. Truck it up.
What do you know about that?
Yeah, I know everything about it. What do you know about this story? The aggregators, they're out in full force. They're thirsty for some off-season news.
They're fiends.
They're gross. And listen, I'm ready to get gross with them, right? But then you see something like this, and it's like, wait a minute, what? So you got to go. Good rule of thumb when you're on the Twitter streaks is find the original source of the content, right? Because it's like these aggregators, they double down, then they double down, and then this article gets picked up by this, fool, and then it just gets all kind of jumbled.
A horrible game of telephone,
right?
Remember that? Like you whisper something in somebody's ear, and then it goes into the next person, and it gets all convoluted, and then next thing, 10 people down the line, it's just like it's the most ridiculous, out of control parody of what you started with the actual facts for.
It gets diluted.
Yes.
And so The Athletic, they feature the Jets a good amount. I'm sure that does well for them. And they have a writer on The Athletic who does a good job. His name's Zach Rosenblatt. And they're talking about quarterback options for the Jets.
Zach Rosenblatt? Yeah.
I was about to say, I'm ready to defend my boy here if I need to, Johnny. Arizona Daily Star legend, Zach Rosenblatt.
Oh, really? Now he's on the Jets beat. That's interesting. He's putting out options for the Cardinals, or the Jets to pursue a quarterback. Let's just preface this by saying the Jets gave up what? Did they give up a first-round pick for Aaron Rodgers? I feel like they gave up a 1 at least, right?
Yeah, I think they gave up way more than you would expect, given that Aaron Rodgers was forcing his way to the Jets. There was no other team really involved. And Green Bay did do a pretty good job as far as netting a return for him, even though they had no leverage.
They got a first and like a 5th rounder. And then they just gave up 2 2s for Devontae Adams. This is the excerpt from Zach. Let's take a look, Damon. This is a breakdown right now from The Athletic. Kyler Murray, the 27-year-old, has a solid, if inconsistent, season with the Cardinals in 2024. I think that's fair. His best game probably came against the Jets on November 10th. He completed 22 of 24 passes. He finished with 3,800 passing yards, 21 touchdowns, et cetera, et cetera. He's dynamic, and his contract is reasonable at this stage. It is $18 million, then 22, 26, and then $19 million in 2027. The Cardinals will only incur a $10 million cap hit in 2025, Bo, if they cut him post June 1st, and could replenish some draft capital. Though, again, there aren't many ready-made replacements out there for Murray this offseason, and Arizona likely wants to compete for the playoffs in 2025. So the aggregators saw this, and they ran with it and said, Zach from The Athletic, who covers the Jets, says that the Jets want to trade for Kyler Murray. And in all actuality, what he was pointing out was, hey, this is an option that the Jets could pursue. What say you?
I think Zach's breakdown is very well done.
Yes.
I think he encapsulates like what's going on, has a good pulse of the Cardinals and their franchise quarterback, where I'm looking at Football Forever, FB Forever HQ
nice.
on Twitter that put Kyler Murray already in a Jets uniform. And the tweet was, the Jets are urged to trade for Cardinals quarterback Kyler Murray via Zach Blatt. Arizona is unlikely to part with Murray, but an aggressive offer from the Jets could make things interesting, which is, complete reckless speculation that even Zach, it's really unfortunate because it kind of, I don't want it to discredit what he's doing here. And he's just presenting the options as a good writer, reporter for the Jets for upgrading the quarterback position. And like Kyler Murray's not available, but this is an option. This is a guy that's name is bandied about offseason after offseason. So let's just at least examine that. And I think he did a good job of doing so.
Yeah. Now, let me ask you this. If the Jets inquired on Kyler Murray, do they even have enough that would pique your interest to make the trade to the New York Jets? Like, what would it take? So let's take a look. The Jets draft capital this year, because there's people on Twitter, of course, that are like, do it. Do it, Cardinals. Trade Kyler Murray to the New York Jets. New York Jets draft. Let me pull it up here. They have
7th overall.
Yeah. So they have the 7th overall pick. So any conversation about Kyler Murray would start there. But then you immediately have to think, well, don't we have to get like our heir apparent to Kyler Murray there? And if that's the case, why don't the Jets just take a quarterback right there? Like what? Talk to me about a package that you would take right now. The Jets, real quick, Bo, as my computer is freezing on me. The Jets have picks 7 and 42. So they do have a second this year, plus a third, a fourth, a fifth, another 5, a 6, and another 6. So again, they've got, I thought they had less picks based on the Devontae Aaron Rodgers trade. They have a decent amount to pick.
Yeah, they're in a decent spot. They're in a decent spot to hopefully revamp some things. Yeah, they were kind of the wheel and deal. They've got Detroit's pick. They've got Pittsburgh's pick. They've got a Chiefs pick along with 5 of their own. So they're in a good spot draft capital wise. And, you're sitting there with 7 and 42, a couple top 50 picks. But like the biggest sticking point that will always end this conversation for me is, what's your solution? What's your pivot point for the Cardinals at the quarterback spot? And you could get the 7th pick and you could get some change. And that's really appealing to any organization. But, where do you turn to as far as your quarterback? So you've got 7th overall pick let's just stay there and you got the 16th overall pick in a defensive heavy draft, and then maybe you get a nice little defender coming your way from the Jets who have a pretty decent talent pool from their defensive side of the football to come over. I still just don't think you put yourself with a gigantic void at the quarterback position that no matter what you bring in, it's going to put you in a spot to where you could finish last in the division if you don't have somebody that can play that position at a high level.
I think the 7th overall pick for Kyler Murray would have to be the centerpiece of any trade. As people are talking about Stafford for the 3rd overall pick, I don't think Kyler Murray is a better quarterback than Matthew Stafford, but he's like 10 years younger, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the Jets just need stability at the position. So I'm humoring the people that want to do this deal. I'm not saying I would. I mean, like, how would you feel about this? The 7th overall pick for Kyler Murray, and then, yeah, they kick in, a player, right? A mid-tier player to come in, and then the Cardinals go and they pay Sam Darnold. How would you feel about that? So then you would have 7, 16, a free agency crop featuring Sam Darnold. Darnold on like a 3-year deal. You front load it, giving yourself some options if Darnold flames out. I'm just spitballing here.
Yeah. I just don't know what like we've learned something about Sam Darnold.
We were at the playoff game.
We saw him go up against 2, very good playoff teams in Detroit the previous week in the finale. And got completely shut down. And then he was just completely dismantled by the Los Angeles Rams. It's almost like what you want to learn about Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
But what we've learned, unfortunately, about Sam Darnold ahead of Kyler, I still don't think that would be the best path forward for this organization to throw a ton of money at a guy like Sam Darnold.
I mean, I think
the
Kyler
quarterback position for me, like that's the whole thing that just completely is the non-starter with this conversation. And if you start to say like, okay, what type of player is coming from Jersey here? Like, are you looking at? I mean, it's got to be somebody controllable. They're not going to give up if they're going to make a trade, like a win now move. They're not going to trade Quinnen Williams.
I was just about to say, could you get Quinnen Williams?
I don't think so.
Could you get Sauce Gardner off a down year?
Maybe, but then you'd have to take him on, and then you have to pay him.
Okay, what anything got here? Could you get Garrett Williams from them? Just have the all Ohio State.
But why would they trade for a quarterback and then trade away their best receiver?
Fair. I mean, Garrett was talking about wanting out last year. It's less to me about the player and more about the picks. So maybe it's just pick exclusives. Maybe it's 7 and 92, right? And you get 2 top 100 picks, including a top 10 pick. Because if you're paying Sam Darnold and you're paying free agents, then you want cheap assets. I think like if you were committed to doing this deal, you're committing to be built like the Vikings were, where the Vikings had a team ready to win, and then Sam just tried to keep the train on the tracks, right? That's what you would hope for. Now, Gannon, I love him. He's not Kevin O'Connell from an offensive standpoint, and you don't have Justin Jefferson or Jordan Addison. Like they had a better roster, and many would argue they do have a better roster, and they play in a division that on par with the NFC West. Could you get Baker Mayfield level ascension from Sam Darnold? Could you be buying? Like those are the questions you'd have to ask yourself.
No, I don't think you do it, man.
No, I don't either.
You blow up the continuity, the progress you've made in order to really kind of take. And this would be the move that would define the organization going forward. And I think you put yourself in roster wise, because of the draft picks that you have in place to really kind of build some things. But if you fumble the quarterback position and the future of it, like you don't get much, you don't get a long leash. Like the end of the road comes quickly.
So let me ask you this. So it does feel like though, like we've heard Jonathan Gannon say this, like I'm in not so many words, like my future is tied to Kyler Murray, and I believe in Kyler Murray, and we know that. But like, what happens this year if Kyler Murray doesn't perform and they don't make the playoffs again? And that's something like I don't want to entertain, but we got to have big boy and girl conversations on this show.
Sure.
let's say middling again. Kyler plays 7-8 wins, right, with a team that was much more equipped to win. How do you attack next offseason, right? He's still under contract. He's a descending player, even more so than he is right now. And then you got a target on your back from other teams that know that you're looking to upgrade. I do think, number one, I wouldn't do this either, but I do think there's something to be said striking when others don't expect you to, right? They talk about the status quo and they're excited about this year and they're going to run it back. I wish this quarterback group was better because I think it's important to have a contingency plan. And I worry about the continuity with JG and Ossenfort. They can build this roster up as much as they want. If the quarterback does not perform at the end of the year like we've seen, it leaves them vulnerable to, staff changes, position coach changes, and of course, executive changes like we've seen. So I think there's something to be said of striking while the iron's hot, not selling on stock when it's at its lowest.
Yeah, but look, the quarterback stock is still going to have some value. I mean, if Kyler Murray repeats the season that he just had, it's not going to plummet. I mean, he would have to bottom out pretty poorly in order for not to get any value if you wanted to pivot off from the next season. So I think Kyler Murray continues to have the skill set that you hang on to until something blatant happens before your very eyes and says that it's not going to work. And I know people are going to point to 6 years and stuff like that, but you can look at all the variables that's played into that. I think the Cardinals owe it to themselves to see this through.
Yeah.
And have this big prove it season in 2025 before they start to do anything drastic.
I'm not saying that they would make this offer, but hypothetically, if the Jets said, here's 7 in sauce for Kyler, you guys both wouldn't do it?
You could definitely consider it.
No,
I think I would do that.
Yeah, I don't think you can do that just because the value of the quarterback position.
And you'd have to be certain you get Sam Darnold.
That's a monster.
Any of these scenarios, you would have to be certain that Sam Darnold was your quarterback. Hey, here's where I'm at, and I'm going to be fair to everybody involved here. I can be a Kyler Murray fan and laugh at Sam Darnold's playoff game because it was atrocious, and still admit that Sam Darnold just had a better year than Kyler Murray's ever had as a quarterback. So I'm not going to sit here and be like, well, Kyler Murray is so superior. No, like Sam Darnold was a borderline MVP this year, and he was beloved with the Vikings. And he had a bad last 2 games, and now he's on his way out. Like, if Sam Darnold is available and I get an all-pro corner and a top 10 pick, like, what? There's a better chance that's going to work out than waiting for Kyler Murray in year 7 potentially.
That was kind of where I was at with it. Or a Russ or somebody like that.
Overwhelmingly. And maybe the Jets would do something like that. They're so desperate. Their owner is insane. He's a legitimate crazy person with the deals they did. But we're going to get to talk to JG and Ossenfort next week at the Combine, and they're going to say all the right things about K1, but it doesn't feel like we're just in a different place than we were last offseason. Doesn't it not feel like that?
No, I mean, I think that this past season has provided some skepticism as far as the future of the position and your ability in confidence that Kyler can get you to where you want to go. But I think you have to kind of see this thing through, and you owe it to all parties involved to in year 3, this rebuild to give him an opportunity to continue to drive the bus and hopefully prove that he's the right decision.
It's funny, like we talked to 30, 40 analysts at the draft, and you can tell that there are people who are tapped into this organization and watch the team closely. And then there are people who their perspective, and I'm not throwing shade at anybody, but it's just like, Kyler played well. They had decent numbers. But then you sit down with Louis Riddick and you sit down with Mina Kimes, and it's just like something's missing here. And they got to figure that out, right? You can't, I think the progression for Kyler Murray to be an elite quarterback with this infrastructure, I mean, even like Mike Florio in the short that we dropped, on YouTube, Bo, everybody go check it out. It's PHNX Cardinals just saying maybe just a fresh start is needed. And not a knock on anybody involved. Sometimes that is what is best. But to your point, Bo, the Cardinals, Kyler can go have a fresh start and he's somebody's quarterback. What do the Cardinals do? They got a big glaring hole at the most important position in pro sports.
Yeah, it just doesn't seem like it would match the way that this organization wants to do business, to create a big void there with a big question mark, albeit, you know, we're now a month away, less than a month away from free agency. And they could go after Sam Darnold. And if he just wants to stay with KOC and the money's right, you just stay with KOC. And then you're what? You're calling Russell Wilson's agent, calling Justin Fields' agent.
No, you can't
take all the draft capital that you just got 7th and 16 and move up the draft board to get one of these 2 quarterbacks. Scary, man. I don't want to live in that reality.
I know we make fun of Justin Fields a lot, but come on.
But Bo, you're living in that reality if Kyler Murray flames out this year, and then you don't at least like I think it's a good idea for them to take quarterback.
I think that look, down a developmental guy this year, sure. I mean, we have a video up talking about that. I mean, I think that's what good organizations do. But I think that there's more confidence within the building right now for the Arizona Cardinals that Kyler's going to get on track. I mean, we talked to Dan Orlovsky, and he was basically saw some growth from K1. And he thinks he's just scratching the surface. A guy that's 27 is going to be 28. Can he make that jump? It's necessary that he does. I mean, it's necessary for this team to go where they want. Kyler Murray plays his best football in 2025.
Before we get to the 2025 regular season, we got to hit free agency. A new report suggests the Cardinals are going to go big after 2 ex-JG products in Philly. That and your super chats coming up next. Drop a like. Talking big ticket free agent pickups, talking big ticket winnings with our friends at Gila River Resorts and Casinos, specifically our friends at Wild Horse Pass. We had Patrick Peterson, Cardinal Great, on our show during Super Bowl coverage. He's a big fan of Gila and all they've got going on. And speaking of winning money, rev your engines with the $350,000 Lamborghini Lux giveaway. Play to win every single Friday for the rest of this month. We only got a couple more chances. You're going to have a chance to win cash, a free bonus play, or qualify for the grand finale drawing. Again, it's a weekly drawing every Friday at 7 p.m. And join the grand finale in a little over 2 weeks with our friends at Wild Horse Pass on Saturday, March 1st, where one lucky winner will drive away in a Lamborghini. Don't miss your chance. There's an opportunity to experience the thrill of luxury and speed. Visit every Friday for your chance to win. You do you. Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Visit playatagila.com for more details or check them out online in the description below.
We were talking about Christian Kirk selling his house in the Valley of the Sun. I wonder if he tapped into Carol Royce and her realty team that have sold over 12,000 homes in the Valley of the Sun. If you're in the market to sell your home in 2025, Carol Royce is not just a really good choice that you can make. It's the guaranteed choice you can make when selling your home. Over 12,000, as I mentioned, because she's the guaranteed home seller, where if you don't get it at 100% market value, she's going to pay you the difference. Carol Royce sells faster than anyone for more money than the average agent, and has got those, those agents are making big promises, but Carol provides upfront written guarantees. It's tough to beat that, what's going on right now in a real estate market, which is, you're always full of questions. Carol Royce has answers for you. Check her out right now online, carolroyceteam.com. That's carolroyceteam.com, and give her a call, 480-776-5231. That's 480-776-5231. Let Carol Royce sell your home this year.
Earlier in the show, we talked about Christian Kirk selling his home. I had Damon go to the archives and pull up a specific headline. For those of you who questioned it, there it is. Arizona Cardinals Christian Kirk refutes rumor that his house is for sale. Not only was this legible on a certain website here in the Valley, but my tweet was embedded. Then Christian Kirk's tweet was embedded. And then they proceeded to attempt to dunk on your boy with a bunch of local entities, including Devon Kennard, Cam Cox. Everybody was in there saying, this is just ridiculous.
Oh, no.
And then what happened, friends? A month later, Christian Kirk couldn't have been out of town fast enough. And I'll give our guy Kyle Ortegard a bunch of credit. He broke that story like 2 weeks later, that Christian Kirk was basically already a Jacksonville Jaguar. It was a done deal. So, yeah, that happened. Those were PHNX Cardinals memories of a distant past before Damon was our producer and Bo was our co-host here.
Yeah, I wasn't here to defend my guy. It wasn't.
All right. We've been made stronger by experiences like that.
I mean, that's my bat signal. Genuinely.
Yeah, you would have gone to war for
Twitter
Johnny.
war. I'm Jon Snow. I'm the whole army's raining down upon me. I don't care. I would have defended Johnny till they made me delete my account.
Looks like they learned their lesson though. They haven't come after this show since.
Let's see who came after me. Devon Kennard came after me probably because I said he was awful.
Yeah, I don't think his time on the roster was long after that.
No, our guy Cam Cox said crazy. You even had to tweet this. Christian Kirk's like, my house isn't even for sale. And then Cam and Christian Kirk proceeded to dunk on me in this article. And then Christian was counting his fat stacks of cash en route to paying no state taxes in Florida. Give Christian credit.
It was like somebody reaches out, hey, is your house for sale? He's like, nah, what are you talking about?
And then he was like, oh man, this article, I'll never forget it. I got a call from our general manager, Saul Bookman. He's like, how confident are you in this report? I'm like, oh, very confident. His home is for sale. Good times. I love this show.
They know they know there's some big dogs here now, Bo. They wouldn't dare test us these days.
Ruff, 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 ruff.
I'm sorry you had to go through that all alone.
You know what though? But then we put out the bad signal, and Bo Brack came to town just a few months later.
This is who I want to work with. I want to work with a guy who's got the testicular fortitude that would put his reputation out there on the line.
Yeah, we're not chilling here,
and he's right, and he's right all the time. Not somebody who just puts out reports that aren't true.
We had his real estate agent confirmed. We had his listing. It was all public knowledge. Just made a couple phone calls. Somebody did their homework, and then a certain website did not do their homework. Everybody drop a like on this video. Subscribe to PHNX Sports. Good stuff today. All right, so we're debunking the Kyler Murray to the Jets. Here's something we're not going to debunk. The Cardinals' interest in going big game hunting in free agency, led by one Josh Sweat and Milton Williams. Klepta on Twitter. This is a reliable source. Okay. I'm just putting it out there. Know this individual, feel confident in their background and who they're involved with. Nearly 30,000 followers, deep into the analytics and gambling scene. They got no dog in this fight. Okay. But they do have a background with the East Coast media. They put out the following. Cardinals have a ton of cap space and the ability to realistically sign one of, if not both, Josh Sweat and Milton Williams. He comments specifically and says, I expect for them to go out to both and a quarterback like Charvarius Ward if they wanted to, then continue to add talent in the draft at O-line, wide receiver, and pass rush. Year 3 for Monti Gannon, I think, is when they start going for it. So, again, somebody who's tapped in to the East Coast market saying the Cardinals to go after both Josh Sweat and Milton Williams, Bo. Does it pass the smell test for you?
I've honestly, I've never heard of this account before, but I hope they're right. I trust you as I back that up. Even back in the old PHNX Cardinals days where you're taking arrows.
Yeah.
Look, I mean, they do have the cap space, and we understand that where they are as far as a rebuild, and it's necessary that they go after, if not 1-2 big name free agents to get themselves past the finish line here.
Yeah. I mean, it would be an indictment on Ossenfort if he doesn't go after both. I think, and then having to look at Jonathan Gannon in the eye and being like, hey, JG, we couldn't get it done.
Because you're 2-year guys. These are 2-year guys from your 2022 defense. They become available. They're foolish enough to make them available at spots that we absolutely need upgrades to. That would be great fits. And it's like, we just couldn't make the money work.
Here's another mid-tier, bottom-tier free agency for you, JG. It's like, I think we can all agree. And this was the consensus we got on Radio Row. Nick Wright, Louis Riddick, Dan Orlovsky. Nick Wright looked me in the eye and said, Jonathan Gannon is sharp. Louis Riddick loves Jonathan Gannon. Yeah. I think the consensus with the fan base is JG has overachieved in a lot of ways with this roster. If you're Monti Ossenfort, how does that make you feel? You've gotten 2 cracks at the plate here. When are you going to be able to equip your head coach with the ability to go and truly contend in the NFC? Like, you see what it takes to contend. Detroit's roster, Philadelphia, Washington overachieved, but major players. Your losses, sans Carolina last year, Bo, all came at the hands of whom? Playoff teams or teams above 500 in the case of Seattle. That's the bar now. You cannot afford to go bargain basement, Walmart DVD bin shopping again.
Yeah. This little like kind of skipping from stone to stone, your way up, from bottom feeders to contenders. Like at some point you have to make a substantial jump. You can't just, when you trend like that in the NFL, like at some point you have to go from a team that's knocking on the door of the postseason or just snuck in to a team that's going to win 12, 13 games. And the Cardinals, I think, are, on the precipice of that, but they have to make the right moves in order to do so. If they don't, they will remain a middling team. And that's like the worst thing to possibly be, I think, in the NFL, because you don't have great draft capital. You're not the top of each round unless you make a deal. And you just have to be able to put your team in a position to stack wins throughout a season. In order to do that, you need talent. You need, as Chris Sims told me, sizzle, because there's the belief in the coach. And there's belief in a lot of the players that they've acquired over the last 2 seasons that they can make us have a solid foundation. But now they need those kind of headlining guys to just kind of push them a little bit further and put them in a different kind of tier as far as NFL goes.
Are you believing the notion that the Eagles could find a way to keep Milton Williams? There's some rumblings about that now, which is a concern, I think, for Cardinal fans.
I actually was just looking at Zach Berman's article that he dropped today, and he projects Milton Williams to get somewhere around a 4-year, $70+ million contract, which is about double of what Spotrac projects Milton Williams to get. So he thinks that like his market is like as hot as can be.
Somebody here put out Leonard Williams as the comp deal. It might have been me. So yeah,
what did Leonard get?
Huh? Leonard got a $64.5 million deal.
That's a steal. That's such a steal.
PFF has Osa Odigizula's contract, Big O, Johnny, projected 4 years, $85 million total, $21.25 million APY.
A lot of people are going to kind of gasp at the sticker price there for Milton Williams and Osa. I mean, even Osa plays a little bit more snaps than Milton, but what you're asking him to do in Jonathan Gannon and Nick Rollis's defense and the impact that he has the potential to make in playing 45 to 50% of the snaps, it's well worth it. I mean, you saw it on full display on Super Bowl Sunday. You saw it consistently throughout the postseason. Number 93 was one of their top performers. Now, like if you remove him from Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis, I think that's a fair, hey, let's see what would this look like. But I do think that he's a guy that's going to immediately become your best interior defensive lineman and elevate what you want to do with Darius Robinson and hopefully whoever you draft to come off the edge.
It's like when you pay, Major League Baseball winter meetings, go and sign a stud closer. They're not going to come in and give you 6-7 innings, but they have a role that can come in. Those guys make big money. Go and get a guy that can help close you game. The Cardinals couldn't close games last year on either side of the ball. Now the offensive side, we've outlined it. Kyler Murray has to be better, but defensive side, Bo, it's like who can stop Sam Darnold at the end of the game? Who can stop?
Jason's up there.
They have a better chance of signing Vaughn and Sweat than Milton. How about that?
Yeah.
No,
Jason
we don't talk about Kuntz here. No.
I'm with Jason. We need that.
Get a little Milton Williams and Malcolm Kuntz.
Oh, defense changed.
If Kuntz is the second option, sure. That's a flyer. Kuntz is a flyer. Nobody can get on this show and be like, yeah, you solved all of our problems. Oh, bring up the tape from last year.
Don't bring up Kuntz. Brian says, it's Johnny's birthday. Save that for tomorrow. Oh, sorry. It was disrespectful. We didn't want to get the guy riled up on his birthday. We would never do that.
Why sign players that headlined a Super Bowl defense when you can sign guys who play for the Raiders who didn't play in 2024? Why?
Who were elite the last time they were on the football field?
Elite?
Yes.
Or solid?
I mean, I know PFF isn't everything, but genuinely rated top 10 edge rusher in football.
Let's continue this conversation, because if it's not Milton Williams and Sweat, which you said is very possible according to this source we brought up, what could it be? What would be the ideal duo of interior D and edge? Let's get into that all coming up next here on PHNX Cardinals. We got our friends Pure Edibles, of course, founded in Arizona, available in 130 dispensaries statewide. You heard me right. 130 statewide. Pure gummies, not covered in sugar like all their competitors. So I'm sure even Johnny could dabble if he wanted to, if he wasn't on this sugar cleanse in order to keep Monti Ossenfort accountable. Pure is a full-fledged candy company offering gummies, kicks, which are just like Starburst. How about chews, like soft candies like caramel, and hard candies, Pure Effects, clearly listed on each 10, so you know exactly what effects to expect. You're not sitting there freaking out like, what did I just do to myself? You know what you're getting into with Pure Edibles. They offer gummies for sleep support, as well as candies with uplifting effects derived from unique cannabinoids such as CBN, CBG, CBD, marijuana derived from THC. Pure was created in Flagstaff Noble Herb Dispensary. In his home, Pure Edibles is now made in Phoenix, Arizona, down the I-17. We love that they call Phoenix home. And Pure is designed to be ripped, bit in half, making them easily and shareable. Is easy to dial in your exact dose. Go find yourself some Pure Edible products from one of the 130 dispensaries statewide. Pure Edibles, official edibles here at PHNX products. As I said, 130 dispensaries statewide.
From CBDs to the ABCs of smelling great. How about our friends at Mando? Mando's here to hook you up. Perfect gift for your boy this holiday season. By holiday season, I mean my birthday. They can hook you up. Pits, belly buttons, butt cracks, smelly? Well, how about their scents geared toward men's with options like bourbon leather, Clover Woods, Mount Fuji, Pro Sports, and more. Again, I love our friends at Mando. It's by and large the best way to keep yourself smelling fresh and clean, having that personal hygiene that is second to none. And if you're thinking to yourself, Johnny, I want to dip my toe in, but I don't want to break the bank, we're going to hook you up right now. Go to shopmando.com, shopmondo.com. The Mando starter pack is perfect for new customers. I promise you, you get it, you're going to be hooked. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, a cream tube deodorant. Then they've got 2 free products that you're choosing. They've got deodorant wipes, but then my favorite, the mini body wash, smelling clean in and out of the shower, plus free shipping. And as a special offer to our listeners, new customers get $5 off a starter pack with exclusive code PHNX. Again, tell them PHNX sent you for 40% off. Shopmando.com. Big thanks to everybody. Big thanks to everybody at GoPHNX.com, including our guy, Fran Duffy. I had my guy Shaft slide into my DMs. I apologize. Didn't have a chance to respond before the show, but he said, Johnny, go check out Fran Duffy's work. He just dropped his player perspective profile on Captain Jack Sawyer. So I can't wait to read that at GoPHNX.com. You got to become a diehard to get the exclusive content. We were on a call earlier today with Fran Duffy, and he's basically establishing residency in Indy, right? He's not one of these guys who hobnobs around and just speaks in media NFL cliches. He's getting down and dirty, grimy, some would say, with the exclusive content you can't find anywhere else. He's the all-city NFL analyst. Got to read his work. Become a diehard today.
Yeah, he's got gloves on. He's getting into it, right? He's really not going to just take it lightly. He's dialed in as far as the NFL draft goes. We're excited to have him a part of our coverage, leading the way as far as our draft coverage. If you haven't signed up to become a diehard yet, go do it today. Of course, we got the QR code on the screen right now. Log on, become a diehard at GoPHNX. Also, if you're watching our streaming partners, it's pretty much coming to an end here shortly. So head over to GoPHNX.com and see what else we have in store for the show. We are going to celebrate our guy Johnny. We got ourselves a nice little happy birthday cake for Johnny Venerable. Look at that. We're celebrating.
That's so nice of you, Bo.
Look at that. It says
that's sweet of you.
Happy B-Day, JV. And we got a couple candles on here. I don't know if we can light them. We don't have a lighter. So
you're such a nice guy.
Yeah. You know what? I thought about my friend and I said, you know,
very disingenuous. I want to believe that there's good behind it. Bo and Damon are going to eat all that cake in front of me on air. Number one, Bo does not allow me to ever eat on air. And number two, this is cruel. This is not helpful.
What are you talking about? It's not helpful that your friends got you a nice personalized birthday cake. Look at that. Has anybody ever done their own,
Where was that cake purchased at? Where did you purchase that cake?
It's not your business. Maybe I baked it myself. Doesn't it kind of look like I did?
It does. I didn't want to
looks scrumptious, Bo. Break me off a piece of that
hey,
thing.
Let's do it. Johnny, first, will you blow out the fake candles here? Just turn to your left and blow them out.
This is uncomfortable.
Make a wish. Ooh, what a big boy. Blew out all the candles in one breath.
Where's my Hassan Reddick? Where's my birthday gift? 31-year-old Hassan Reddick off of a half a sack this year.
Oh, man. Let's get it going here.
Oh, no. We're not going to eat on air, are we? You're going to eat some cake on air? I can't have
when
sweet.
you say we, like you're
doing a lot of heavy lifting. Yeah.
We're just going to get just a slice. It would be rude not to enjoy some birthday cake.
Bo went out of his way.
Yeah.
You know what hurts me the most is like with this show, I like to be in control, and I've never felt less in control than I do right now of everything that's going on in Studio K.
Here we go. We got Damon's slice here. Looks like a nice little slice. It's nothing too big. Like, it's not big, Johnny. See? Just a little.
Thanks, Johnny.
You know,
for you, man.
He's been working out, so he's been working out. He's earned it. Little cheat day.
Little sugar is not bad for the gains.
Yeah.
I'm struggling watching this.
Let's continue the conversation, though.
The icing's really good.
Is it? Good. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
I'm not even that big of a cake guy.
I hate this so much. Can you stop?
I've ever had.
Things aren't going well for me. I turned 37 today, and I just want a piece of cake on my birthday, and you've robbed me of that.
We have
Monti Ossenfort. This better
with friends.
Now, this better work out, Monti Ossenfort. Don't screw us again in free agency. I got to shine up a Bilal Nichols in free agency. If I got to watch my co-host and my producer,
you say like it's just vanilla, right? Yeah,
it's like a white cake with vanilla frosting for sure.
I hate this show. The only thing that's keeping me here are the 700 people watching live, so they can drop the like button. Make it worth it.
Yeah, kind of lighten the likes. Let's drop some likes for the GOAT.
Oh my god,
I'm a sprinkles guy too. I mean, I like the sprinkle touch that it adds.
Damon, put yourself on camera. Turn the camera on.
There's a little crunch with the sprinkles.
And the filling is solid.
It is really good. It's good. It's just a 2-story cake with some frosting in between.
We have super chat. There's sweet baby Dame. Let's see him. Let's see you eat that cake. Oh my god. I got to travel with these hooligans, with these gremlins for a week at the combine. Some of us are.
It's almost like the frosting's almost too much.
It's a little sweet. Yeah, I'm getting what you're putting down.
Almost too much. Should I put it down? Should I just not?
Probably just throw away.
Would you like to do a podcast? Sure. We've got another segment to go, but sure. Why don't you guys just gorge yourself?
Skylar Plummer is saying that cake is definitely not mid. No. You're right. It definitely isn't.
Is it the Josh Sweat, Milton Williams, and free agency of cakes? All right.
All done.
I need this bit to be over. I'm uncomfortable.
Good job, Damon. Clean your plate.
I'm frustrated. That's great. Now I have to pull a Dunkin' Donuts, drown myself in coffee when I'm around Bo. Just spray him endlessly. Like, what's his name? Jeremy Strong from that commercial for the Super Bowl. All right. Enough of this.
Oh, okay.
Stop it. Enough of this. Enough. Yeah, I should do tomorrow's show from a Starbucks. See, like, here's the problem with Bo is like, I don't believe for a second Bo's like just chilling without caffeine. I think that's a farce. I think he's putting on a show. And
wow.
By hook or by crook now, my goal at the combine is to break Bo. So some might say that we have to get Bo so uncomfortable the morning after. He's going to have to be so hungover that he's going to need anything. The only way he's going to be able to get through the day is he's going to need caffeine. So that's
pure icing. That was gross. I don't know why I did that.
Oh my
God. I mean, I do kind of feel you, Johnny. Like, it does feel a little bit like Bo's almost saying too much.
Yeah.
That he's like not struggling at all. Like, he's trying to convince himself of that a little bit.
I think this was a gentleman's competition until now, and now it's a cutthroat. It's a street fight now. It is, and that's fine. I can play dirty. All right. let's get to these super chats. I can't even continue. I just want to read these super chats and get you off the screen. I'm so disgusted with you. This is the most disgusting thing. All right. Our guy Gage, $2. Just saying live from Studio K, baby.
He's saying it like you do to open the show.
Live from Studio K on my birthday. And my friends just ruined it. They've ruined my birthday.
Yeah. Let's keep it going with Frank Rodriguez. Speaking Frank Sanders, you guys share a birthday?
Is his birthday today?
Yeah.
Me, Frank Sanders, Michael Jordan, Michael Jackson, a lot of notables. $5. Maybe you draft Arch Manning next year if you trade Kyler. Here's the issue: is if the Cardinals have a top pick next year, Gannon and Ossenfort will be fired. We don't want that.
Yeah. No, it would. You'd have to bottom out in order to be in a position to draft Arch. Unless Arch has a bad season, then it's like, is he worth the investment that it would be for a franchise quarterback? Josh, $10, always generous with the super chats. Thank you, Josh. As much as I love Kyler, one person talking about a trade is a chance, but insiders and beat reporters talking isn't. I think there is more credibility about Monti Ossenfort shopping Kyler than we like to think.
I'll just drop this little nugget here. At the end of the year, and it wasn't from Jonathan Gannon, there were people inside the Cardinals organization that were disappointed with his play down the stretch. Now, they could be rejuvenated this offseason. Everything could be fine, but sit here and just suggest everybody's good with how they finished, and that's not the case. Now, Gannon remains committed, and he's a very pro players coach. But yeah, Josh, to your point, I don't know if Ossenfort specifically, but the Cardinals want more from that position down the stretch, no doubt, and they should. Brian, $5. Happy birthday, JV. Do Cardinals go after Chris Godwin if he's healthy? Vet who's great in the slot and can help mentor a very young group, or Kirk is a better fit? I mean, if you signed either, I think the fan base would be in a really good spot, and the roster especially. Kirk, I think, is a better fit because he's younger, familiarity, and he's not coming off a lower body injury like Godwin. I worry about Chris Godwin bouncing back from that injury he had.
Let's talk about a couple slot receiver options, okay? Because it's going to be a position that we're going to preview throughout the offseason. Mm-hmm. You've got, obviously, the two we've been talking about. One just mentioned Godwin, Christian Kirk. You've got Cooper Kupp, who I think this show's probably not in on, but guy that has played the slot position at a very high level, right? About as high level as you possibly can play. And then you look to the draft. You got guys like Tez Johnson from Oregon, a lot of speed, not a whole lot of size. You got Nick Nash, who we drafted in one of our recent mock drafts, who played San Jose State. He was the Triple Crown winner as far as the NCAA goes. So you're going to be able to upgrade, I think, at the slot. I think there's a couple different options out there for the Cardinals to go.
Can I point out something, though? It's I think Cardinal fans maybe are a little numb of receivers in the draft with Drew Petzing because, Marv was supposed to be the most pro-ready, right? And it was such a grind with he and Petzing in K1 this year. It's I don't know if Cardinal fans want to do – who's more pro-ready than Marv as a slot receiver to come in and play that third receiver role? Maybe I'm being naive, but I just feel like with Drew, I don't want to go through that again this year. Go get a veteran that can help you.
Did you want some more cake?
No, I'm doing okay over here.
Yeah.
I'll take some home though for later.
Okay, great.
Cool guys. Dana, ball knower, $2. Freeze a slice, JV. Happy birthday. They should freeze me a slice.
We will.
Good guys.
Yeah, we'll definitely do that.
Hopefully it keeps till the third week in April. Could be in that freezer at PHNX a long time. It'd be like people's wedding cakes. How long has the cake been in here for? It's been in here for 4 years.
Oh man. Brian, $5. Friend of the program. Happy 40th birthday, JV.
That's not accurate at all.
Years. No. All the years of losing aged you so much. Stevie Wonderkime drafting owes you and the rest of us some wrinkles back.
Yeah, I mean,
Brian, sweet as always.
This is a terrific guy.
He's such an uplifting man, that Brian.
I'm 37. And I do have a decent amount of gray hair that's coming in fast and hard. And most of them are from Steve Kime's drafting in mid to late April. It's atrocious. For every bust, I have 10 gray hairs. For every Isaiah Simmons, for every Kevin Minter, for every Troy Nicholas, you can see about 10 to 15 gray hairs in my head.
Yeah. It's not a franchise that you want to follow if you don't want to be stressed out and left with gray hairs in your late 30s.
You make a mess over there. It was just so good. You
just
dug in.
I did. I've got sprinkles and icing all over my
all over the
workstation.
Child, it's just food everywhere. Is it your smash cake?
It's tough when it's birthday cake, So
it's tough to eat cake.
Yeah, it's tough to keeping it going with Dana. $5. Thank you again. Monti Ossenfort, Jonathan Gannon have focused on run defense and their interior defensive line so far. Is there another run first DT they may prefer in free agency, or was that just patching the hole first?
There damn well better not be, Dana. Like somebody put it in the chat earlier, and I'd have to go back and find it. But like if we have to be sold like a mid-tier D tackle, again, here it is. AZ Cardinals, good quote here. I'm going to explode if the Cardinals overpay some random free agents like Benito Jones as a starter. Yep. That's how I feel. Like, this is the offseason. That's why we're doing this challenge. This Vice is like, I don't want to be sitting here the week of free agency, either breaking stories or reacting to them on this show about a Sean Murphy Bunting-esque signing or a Justin Jones-esque signing.
Yeah.
Like, your fans deserve better than that.
Mm-hmm. Let's keep it going with the super chats. Great questions. PR Mac, $2. We need hope Monty sign a legit free agent, and praying emoji, football emoji.
What do you say to people, Bo, that to your point, like Monty hasn't done it yet, so he can't do it?
I'd say you have to kind of take within the context of what he was doing previous off seasons, where year one, there was no need to sign anybody of note, actually to clear space. And then last off season was they had a ton of draft capital, but you didn't know what that draft was going to yield. And then now you know where your roster is. You have a good pulse of where your roster is and what it needs and what you weren't able to accomplish the first two off seasons. And now if hopefully the free agent class gives you the opportunity to upgrade at some spots that you haven't been able to.
Diego Perez, $5. I disagree with this. It's well fitting that Bo is eating JV's birthday cake without JV. It's definitely on brand, Diego, for my co-host and my producer.
It is on brand for us to be so thoughtful, so kind, so loving. Honestly, like this is a brotherhood.
Out of my day. Yeah, I took time out of my day. It made it stop. In fact, maybe not just my day. I mean,
that's the kind of things you do for family, though.
Yeah,
we're not family.
And I see people in the chat saying they don't think I'm caffeine free. That's completely false. I have not slipped at all.
And we'll see about that.
I tell you what, though, the weekend I wasn't feeling great. Wasn't feeling great.
That's what I want to hear. That gives me life. Me struggling, but then also Bo struggling. That's what's going to keep me throughout the. Because Damon, I do think Damon. At the end of the day, you're gonna be able to see some gains at the end of this, and you're gonna benefit maybe the most from anybody. And you a robust single life, Old Town, like this challenge is going to better you. Bo and I think get very minimal benefits from this. Whereas this is just helping Damon. This is like a new year.
I mean, that was part of my thought process. That was kind of what I wanted to do is gain something out of this. But that being said, I think that you could make that argument for yourself as well. No?
You know what? I'm finding that I'm replacing some sugar a lot with some refined carbohydrates. And it's not good for your boy. So
like chips and stuff.
Chips, peanut butter pretzels, just, stress eating because I can't have my sweets. But I'm working on it. Ray, $9.99. Thank you so much, Ray. If Kyler has a rough 2025 season, how about Sam Levitt in the 2026 draft? I think Sam Levitt. No, that's how I pronounce his name. I think Sam Levitt. I think he's got 2 more years left today at shoot. Don't you guys?
Well, he was a redshirt freshman, so you have to be 3 years removed from high school.
Yeah,
so he would be eligible.
But I don't you feel like? I mean, like if they win the Big 12 again, I think he's going to play 1 more year at least. I think he's got 2 more years left.
I mean, they're already viewing him as an NFL prospect, so he's going to have, and without, Scat taking up most of the headlines, he's going to be a little bit under a microscope. And if he plays well and ASU has similar success, I think he could easily go to the next level, because Sam Levitt has the ability to potentially be a day 1 or early day 2 pick. That's going to be more. That's going to be more than he would command in NIL, and I think that's where he really is the separator.
It'd be pretty wild if he came out next year and the Cardinals had an opportunity to draft him. The Cardinals, with this regime, for it to work, I feel like this has got to be the highest pick that you can have for a while. Is pick 16.
Mm-hmm.
No one wants to see this team. If we're sitting here and they're picking like 10th next year, the conversation is going to be about who can they get to replace Kyler Murray, but also like, we don't believe in Jonathan Gannon, Monti Ossenfort.
Yeah.
It's going to, and we are, if anything, very thoughtful, Diego.
Mm. Well, I mean, what we've done is very selfless. We're putting aside things that we enjoy in order for this team to go out and make the move that's necessary. We're not trying to take on anything beyond like trying to make ourselves better because of it. We want this because we're holding this organization accountable, because when it comes March, free agency opens, they say, hey, these guys sacrifice something. I'm going to go out there. I'm not going to be scared to pull the trigger on a move, because I already saw people stare down fear of giving up things like sugar and caffeine, and they did it for 30 days. I can spend some cap dollars.
What do you think?
Nothing. What do you think compared to what Johnny did?
What do you think Monti Ossenfort's reaction? Because you and I are always front line at his presser at the combine. If I was just like, excuse me, sir, I gave up sugar for the last 2.5 weeks. I'm anxiously awaiting for you to sign a free agent. Thoughts? And I just put the mic up to his face and did that. What do you think he would say? You think he would have fun with it, or do you think he'd be like, this is lame, get me security, you're not?
I think he'd probably be taken back a little bit, like, what do you expect me to say here? I'm just going to continue to run my program. You have no influence on me whatsoever. And I'm reconsidering, actually doing this interview.
I think you got to start it off and frame it like, hey, Monty, do me a favor. Like that kind of vibe.
Hey, I haven't had sugar in 2.5 weeks, and we had a show vice that we wouldn't drink caffeine, stop working out, or eat sugar until you signed a legitimate free agent. It's also an indictment of the job you've done the last 2 off seasons. Here's what I will say. He is a good sport. The first year we asked him about uniforms because the Cardinals' old uniforms were ass. And he's like, I don't know anything about that. And then they upgraded their uniforms. So
you think we played a part in that?
I think we played a very big part in it, not only at the combine, but leading up to that. Like, we were the official PHNX Cardinals, change your uniforms. They're trash. Let's get it going. I mean, we were invited to that ceremony in downtown Phoenix for a reason. They wanted us there because they wanted to say, look what we did.
Just like all the media?
Nah, it was exclusive. We had exclusive invites. Yeah, everyone was there. It wasn't exclusive at all.
The place that Damon used to be a bouncer at?
You used to bounce there?
BB?
Yeah.
Yeah. I did. I was I was like Odell Beckham Jr.'s personal security guard for a night. It was pretty crazy.
Had to have been feeling pretty safe that night.
That's what I was saying. Head was on a swivel. My life was ready. I was ready to put my life on the line to save OBJ. I was.
Thank you for your service, Damon.
And then he became a Dolphin, and it became full circle for you. How about that?
One of the worst Dolphins maybe of all time.
I love whenever he's released and he's just available and people are like, cards interested? He is washed. This show is not washed, regardless of what you may think after today's program and my co-host eating on air. Everybody drop a like on this video. We got 731 people watching live. If you're watching on the Twitter streets, come on over, despite that, to the YouTube page and like this video. The goal every day this week is 500 likes en route to the NFL Combine. I need it so bad. I've never needed something more. Get it off the screen.
Here,
leave us a like. Today was a good day. It was a good birthday until now, and it's been ruined by my co-host and I will not take this lightly en route to Indianapolis, Bo.
You're welcome. Happy birthday.
I don't remember saying thank you at all.
5 big booms for your birthday.
They wouldn't do this to me. My Costco family wouldn't do this to me.
Double chunk chocolate cookies for everybody, right? But
you mean this Costco family?
That's right.
You think we wouldn't do that to you?
I'm the head of the household in this photo, and what I say goes. And even though, Damon, that you're my adopted Rizzler son, you still have to follow my rules.
You're not my dad. The Rizzler's his own man.
End the show.
We will end the show. So Johnny can get on to having seconds, I guess, of birthday dinner instead of dessert, instead of cake. But wish him nothing but the best. He is our fearless leader. It is his show. Johnny Venerable, happy birthday. Like this video for JV. Of course, chime in the comments below. Should the Cardinals get after both Milton Williams and Josh Sweater? What duo should Monti Ossenfort sign this offseason? Drop it in the comments. We'll talk to you guys soon tomorrow on PHNX Cardinals.
We all silly like the mayor.